The Gordie Howe International Bridge is physically complete. Construction of the 1.5-mile, 6-lane cable-stayed crossing and its customs plazas on both the Windsor and Detroit sides is days away from final systems completion. According to two sources with direct knowledge of construction progress, U.S. Customs and Border Protection staff are staffed, trained, and positioned. The Canada Border Services Agency has been operational on the Canadian side since fall 2025. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority is still officially targeting a spring 2026 opening. Spring ends in 17 days. The bridge is built, the customs staff are ready, and the bridge is still closed. The reason has nothing to do with concrete or steel. DHS Secretary Markwayne Mullin told the Senate Appropriations Committee, "We have the personnel dedicated, ready to move. We're prepared, we're staffed, ready to go." There's still negotiations between Canada and the United States that's not within DHS that has to be resolved. But we're as far as we can go without the sign-off from the bridge and the final agreement between the two countries. That statement defines the situation precisely. The physical construction is not the barrier. The customs staffing is not the barrier. The bridge systems testing, the lighting, the tolling infrastructure, the connections to Interstate 75 in Michigan and Highway 401 in Ontario, none of those are the barriers. The barrier is a negotiation between two governments, and that negotiation is not about a bridge, it is about trade. The Gordie Howe International Bridge was originally scheduled to open in fall 2025. Delays related to port of entry construction pushed the timeline to early 2026. The Canadian side met its targets. The American side, specifically the U.S. Customs port of entry in southwest Detroit, was the lagging component. S&P Global flagged those delays in a report months before they became public, noting that contractors missed two deadlines for handing over the ports of entry. When the construction delays were resolved, a different kind of delay arrived. In February 2026, Donald Trump posted on social media that the United States would not allow the bridge to open until America was fully compensated for what he described as unfair treatment by Canada. He pointed to Ontario's restrictions on American alcohol sales, dairy tariff structures, and Canada's bilateral outreach to China as justifications. He claimed the bridge was built with only Canadian steel, a claim Canadian officials, including Prime Minister Carney, publicly refuted. The bridge was constructed with both American and Canadian steel, American workers, and Canadian financing under a 2012 agreement between the Canadian federal government and the state of Michigan that gave Michigan joint ownership of a $4.7 billion structure without contributing a single dollar of upfront construction capital. Trump is pushing for shared ownership and a cut of future revenue, wanting to revisit the original 2012 agreement brokered under then Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, which had Canada front the cost of construction and recoup it over time through tolls. That demand a cut of future toll revenue from a structure Michigan already owns half of is the specific ask that has been tabled in negotiations since February. Under the 2012 agreement, Michigan and Canada share equal ownership of the bridge, but Michigan cannot receive toll revenue until Canada recoups its full construction investment, a timeline estimated at 30 to 70 years depending on traffic volumes. Trump's position is that this arrangement is unfair and that the United States deserves immediate revenue participation. Canada's position is that the 2012 agreement is a legally binding contract that both sides signed, that Michigan already owns 50% of a structure it did not fund, and that the compensation demand has no basis in the existing legal framework. U.S. Ambassador Pete Hoekstra confirmed the stalemate directly. He told reporters that Washington and Ottawa have not reached agreement. He confirmed the president would have to sign off on any eventual deal. He stated, "There's a lot of issues right now between the US and Canada. The bridge is one more. The Federal Highway Administration will not grant approvals to open the bridge to traffic without White House authorization. That requirement means the bridge's opening date is not determined by construction, completion, customs readiness, or testing timelines. It is determined by whether the president chooses to authorize it, and that authorization is currently conditioned on Canada making concessions in trade negotiations that extend far beyond the bridge itself." Canadian Federal Minister Evan Solomon told CBC that there were complicated negotiations going on between the US and Canada, and that Canada is deeply engaged on a daily basis with the United States on all issues regarding trade, the Section 232s, the tariffs, and including the opening of the Gordie Howe Bridge. He said, "There's a lot of factors. The bridge is one factor." That statement confirms what the public framing of the delay has been obscuring. The bridge is not delayed because of the bridge. It is delayed because the administration has inserted it into the CUSMA review negotiation, using the bridge's opening as leverage to extract concessions on steel tariffs, automotive content rules, dairy access, and other bilateral trade disputes that the July 1st CUSMA deadline was supposed to resolve through a formal negotiation process. The bridge has become a bargaining chip in a trade war rather than an infrastructure project with a construction timeline. Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkens has been the most direct public voice on what Canada's response to that strategy should be. I know that the U.S. government has put a proposition forward to the Canadian government on how they might find a pathway to open the bridge. And what I've said is, if it's a bad deal, don't take it, Canadian government. We're willing to let that bridge stay closed for a little while longer, instead of taking a bad deal put forward by the United States, Dilkens said. He described the American position as asinine and based on false grievances. He called the situation unacceptable, given that both sides had negotiated and signed the original terms. His position, the mayor of the Canadian city that stands to benefit most from the bridge opening, is that no deal is preferable to a concession that trades away terms Canada already has in a binding contract. The business communities on both sides of the Detroit River are watching the stalemate with documented frustration. The Detroit Regional Chamber called the bridge a much-needed piece of infrastructure and said it looks forward to seeing the bridge open. More than 290 local businesses engaged on the bridge project during its construction. Over $9.1 million was spent on small-scale purchases from local businesses through the Community Benefits Plan. Those businesses are waiting for the economic activity the bridge was supposed to generate, the approximately $126 billion in annual trade value that flows through the Windsor-Detroit corridor that the Gordie Howe Bridge was designed to carry more efficiently. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority is still publicly maintaining a spring 2026 opening target. Spring ends in 17 days. U.S. Customs is staffed and ready. Canada Border Services has been ready since fall 2025. The construction is days from completion. The bridge cannot open without White House authorization. The White House has not given it. The commercial cost of every additional day the bridge remains closed is documented and compounding. The Ambassador Bridge, privately owned by the Maroon family, currently handles all commercial truck traffic across the Detroit River at tolls of $20 to $28 per axle, approximately $100 to $140 per truck. The Gordie Howe Bridge's commercial toll rate is set at approximately $12 per axle. Every week the bridge stays closed. American and Canadian trucking companies continue paying the Ambassador Bridge's premium rates rather than the lower Gordie Howe rate, a cost difference that accumulates across hundreds of thousands of crossings per month. A University of Windsor study projected that the Gordie Howe Bridge would save truckers $2.3 billion over 30 years compared to the Ambassador Bridge. That savings timeline cannot begin until the bridge opens. The Ambassador Bridge family donated $1 million to a Trump-aligned political action committee. Before the administration's demands against the competing bridge emerged a sequence of events that U.S. congressional Democrats formally requested investigation into. The bridge that was supposed to end the ambassador's monopoly cannot open. The monopoly continues. The tolls accumulate. And the White House has not yet given the authorization that every other party in this process has been waiting for since fall 2025.